Okay, I am back. I keep on getting disconnected. I don't know what's trying to stop me, but look, devil, you're not stopping me today. Um, Back to what I was saying about the ignoring the signs equally. Now, and what I just went through, what I mean by ignoring the signs equally, like I was getting nudges from my intuition before I even made the choice. You know, to not do something. You know, and Spirit was trying to warn me before all of this had happened, but you know how like when they tell you be careful what you ask for and what you pray for, and I did that, and that person did come back to me. But the thing about it was that they came back with not the right intention. They planted a really bad seed, and because they planted their bad seed while I was planting my good seeds, in the end we reaped the seed that we sowed. I planted seeds of love, kindness, forgiveness, nurturing, like all of those, because that's naturally me. And that person has been through some things in their life that they had this false idea what life and love is supposed to be. And so did I. I had a fantasy. But within the connection, I began to let the fantasy go because I realized that I was in a fantasy and that there was no real um, strong foundation. And I don't really want to talk about this, but the Lord is telling me to talk about it because somebody needs this. I don't want people knowing my business. I mean, I ain't mad about what I went through. I used to be, but it's more so because people didn't understand. Like, I really don't like the fact that that person had to hide how they really feel because of what they've been through their entire life, how they was taught to be. And I do hate the fact that they chose to be let their ego lead. You know, I've been let my ego die a long time ago without me even knowing. But the reason why I'm not mad at that person and why I forgave the person because I went through some god awful things. I wouldn't wish it on my enemy. But at the same time, I always knew, had a feeling, but there's still no clarity. And I have been willing to, let's see what it says. I have been willing to let go of control. And I clearly see that person hasn't. Because if they was willing to let go of control, they would let their ego die. And they would come into what I know the Lord had told me was supposed to be theirs, but I didn't tell them what it was because it's their lesson to learn. We both were supposed to learn lessons from each other. And I learned my lesson. And I'm not saying anybody's lesson or what they had to learn was greater than the others, but I let so many things about myself die. And that person chose not to. And because of that seed they sowed, this is the cause. And there's a cause and effect, is basically what I'm trying to say for everything. You cannot, that's like, if I, let me think of something I could say. So that's like, say I have an egg and I have a hammer. Okay. If that hammer hits the egg, what is the effect? The egg is crushed, right? Okay. If I um if there's a mud puddle and if I step in it, what you think gonna happen? Mud gonna either be all over his shoes or all over you, right? Okay. So why walk in the mud when you don't have to? And now I'm like, I wasn't expecting to be in this space so quickly. Like, I choose my peace over unhappiness. Meaning, what I previously went through made me unhappy. What I went through my entire life made me unhappy. How I dealt with people, places, and things made me unhappy. And I was a prisoner in my own mind. Um, we both made good and bad choices. I see what bad choices I made. I didn't put myself first. I put everybody else before myself. So with me making that bad choice, I had to suffer. I suffered so bad that I had gotten such a mental prison that I basically died. And a year ago, just gave it to God. Back in, I think it was about October when I found Stephen Furtick. I do have another video I'm going to put out. I'm not editing this stuff right now because I am just starting out and I'm just learning, particularly what my real purpose is other than what other people was telling me. But the Lord been speaking to me through Stephen Furtick, his wife, any guest speakers, but whoever that's a part of that church. And I've been, I just fell in love, and it's not so much as with them because they're just the vessel. I'm talking about with the way how, the way that God allows him to, them, not just him, but the people are part of the family, connects with the world now, because we live in a time of technology and the world is totally different than the old way now. So it's kind of like basically we all need to look within ourselves and what's going on? Everything just keep trying to stop me. Tablet dying and everything. I'm saying that we living in the times like we can't just be sitting in the church. We can't be just keep sitting there waiting for somebody to come create our reality for us. You get what I'm saying? You can't wait on that. You create your own reality. You have to guard your mind. You have to, and if you don't have the power to do it, you call on the Lord. You call on the Lord for the things that you can't change. And that's what I did. Like, I really physically couldn't change so many things at the time, nor did I have the strength. And so the Lord stepped in for my behalf. I was really, I was dying. And I just say that I'm dead because in that moment, I didn't realize what was happening. Like, for years, any emotion I feel, my emotions was what kept me safe. That's why I'm not afraid to use my heart. That's why I'm not afraid to feel. That's why I'm not afraid to give. I'm not afraid to love. I'm not afraid to deal with my ugly side. I'm not afraid of none of that. I face anything because I know that the Lord has me. Don't rip my Bible. And then the Lord has given me so many confirmations all my life. And, you know, like I said, just hiding my real spirituality because of everybody else. I ain't got to prove to nobody my relationship with God. If anything, the only thing I got to do is just prove to God that I can do the work that he asks of me to do. So, let me get back on topic. That's why I said I got to stay on my notes because I am always in my head thinking of new stuff to do and all that. So, alright, so everything that I basically touched on, even with connecting a past story with something I recently went through, that was all coincide with the question of what did I learn. Okay, so then the Lord asked me, so what do you know? When you read Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and chapter 3, is clearly telling me, I'm saying you read and get it whatever the message is for you, but I know what I got from Ecclesiastes 2 and 3 relating to my life. That no one can take what is yours. And I'm saying that to you because I wrote that down to remind myself. If the Lord already told you what is yours, why are you believing what everybody else say? Why are you allowing people to dictate where you go, what you can do, your abilities? You might want to do XYZ because you really better at XYZ. But because everybody know you for whatever it is that you do or that you don't really love to do, those are usually the people who really don't know you and ain't for you. If you bring something to somebody and they either try do the opposite, as soon as they start talking negative against what you, get away from them. That is not the person for you. And you shouldn't even be telling them anything. You shouldn't even be coming to them anything. One thing that I learned recently is you give it all to God. You go to God for what you need. Because people will always fail you. And I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn that in the most painful way. You know, I had to learn who my real enemies were, because the people who I already knew was my enemies, I didn't even know that there were other enemies right up under me. You know, so what do you know? Know what is yours. Know when something isn't yours. When it isn't yours, you shouldn't have to fight it. But when it's yours, you ain't got to do that. None of no fighting. It just naturally comes to you. You know, but you can't have them type of blessings when you got a black heart. You can't have those type of blessings when, you know, you sitting up here and you're not loving, because God is love. In order to get to God, you gotta love. You gotta open that heart. You can't be out here doing stuff to people and then think, or doing things and then expect there ain't no karma. That's like me sitting up here doing something or going back to something old and then expecting nothing.